Sorry, how are we? I thought that I was live. I didn't expect the old stream up on the old studio. Look, let's go into the news to you. There we are. We're in the new one now. There we go. I clicked on the wrong thing. I thought I had the waiting screen up. I was sitting here just dawdling around, having a laugh, looking at my phone, looking at the chat, all in a little world of my own, thinking, sure, so the waiting screen's up there now. Everybody be grand. I'll be with them in a minute. It'll be fine. Yeah, and then I started talking, and then I realised the microphone wasn't even switched on. So there we go. Great start to today's stream, and this is why you get this professionalism nowhere else. It is only available here at your favourite Liverpool fan channel. Yes, there we go. What a day. Well, look, the weekend started, so maybe I've been on the sherry already. I haven't, but something needs to explain the lack of professionalism going on in my mind. How are we all anyway? I hope you've had a wonderful Friday. Lots for us to talk about tonight, my friends. Appreciate you giving up some of your evening to come and have a chat with me. Ace and Tino, thank you, bud, for giving up those memberships. You're very kind indeed. 5 memberships gifted and 5 very appreciative people. Robert, just a little note to you, Sarah, as well. I have added you as a moderator, as promised, my man. So thank you for the little reminder. I definitely would have forgotten because, you know, I'm just dumb, mate, in these things. So thank you for that one. But yeah, there's a start to a stream, you know. Imagine I was picking my nose or something. It could have been a lot worse. So I'll take that as a little win. A little weekend win to start off. I love the new studio. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you. I think it's great as well. Ben did absolutely wonderful work with the studio. And yeah, it's a pleasure to look at. It's a pleasure to be in. And of course, it's a pleasure to chat to you guys from. Craig, your camera is on. Oh, I know, Dave. I know. I had the waiting screen ready, right? And I thought it was clever, Dave. Had it ready there. Thought I clicked on it. I clicked on the wrong thing. I had the old studio open and I'm just sitting here. La la la. There's nothing new there. Now you get a little glimpse into what it's like when I'm waiting to start the stream. It's not as fun and sexy maybe as you would expect, but there we go. So we're going to be speaking about the statement from Uruguay that's just been released around the Darwin Nunez and that little incident in the stands. We're going to be talking about central defensive midfield and who is the target really. Is it Joao Neves? Is it Joshua Kimmich? Will we revisit Ederson? We're going to be giving you guys the cost to go and observe the Copa America final if you so wished, and a couple of other bits and pieces as well along the way. We are going to be live tomorrow as well, by the way. We are taking Sunday off to allow you guys all to just enjoy the Euros final. Spain and England taking part in a massive event on Sunday, so we're going to let you guys watch that. First super chat of the night, Daniel. How are we, sir? All the way over in New Zealand. Thank you for your support. Daniel said, what's the chance we get Neves 1 through 10? Now, I've got to say, before I answer the question, Daniel, I can only give you my opinion. I'm not sitting here telling you I have a cast iron guarantee. What I would say is, my own opinion, I'd put it a 6.5, but I say that because I'm more concerned about the numbers involved in it. If I could remove the transfer fee from the situation, I think the number would be a bit higher because the interest is most definitely there from Liverpool. But 120 million euro is a lot of money for a 19-year-old, so let's wait and see. But the interest is certainly sincere from the club. It's just a matter of, do we really trigger that release clause, because that's what Benfica are holding out for. Previous offers from the likes of Manchester United have come in at about 50-60 million pound, immediately rejected by Benfica. So, you know, it's just going to come down to that really. If the club think he's the guy, are they going to pay the money, or will they look to go for maybe a Joshua Kimmich, an Ederson, or somebody else? What else we got? If we get Neves, will he be the wonder kid? Be the only transfer of the season? No, I don't think he'd be the only transfer. In fact, I would say we absolutely need to bring in a centre-back. That would be, if I could, you know, give you my to-do list. Centre-back number 1, midfielder number 2. I'd probably even put full-back number 3 and then a forward at number 4. That's kind of my priority checklist. Zach, thank you, mate, for your super chat. Very kind of you indeed. Really appreciate $20 super chat, Jack. Thank you so much, mate. Happy Friday. I always appreciate your channel and wanted to get the weekend started right. Well, you put a smile on my face, my man. Thank you so much. That is very kind of you, Zach. If you don't mind me asking, sir, whereabouts in the world are you located? I can see you're at a game in your profile picture, but thank you, Zach. Appreciate that, mate. Keep up the great work, Craig, said Robbie Collins. Always lovely to see you in, Robbie. Robbie is a long-term viewer of the channel. I remember Robbie being in streams a long way back as well. So thank you, Robbie. Appreciate you, mate. Where is the money, John? Midrish Brando. Where is the money? That is the question that many of us are going to be asking. And I think this will give us a real indication. Do you want to hear something that's absolutely off the walls, mental, crazy nonsense? One of the people, and I'm taking this off an account that was posted from a Liverpool fan account, a Liverpool fan account, that said, the Colombian fan who punched Darwin Nunez, I can't believe I'm about to say these words. The Colombian fan who punched Darwin Nunez is a priest. Is a priest. A priest. I'm going to say that again just in case you think you've misheard me. The Colombian fan who punched Darwin Nunez is a priest. Now, there's a sentence that I never thought I'd be saying on a football channel. I don't know what to say. Genuinely, I'm at a loss for words. The power of Christ compels you, right hook. Do you know what I mean? What do you do with that, like? What am I supposed to do with that information? Yeah, so there we go. That's the way we started off today's stream. Craig in La La Land, and then we're talking about priests jumping in, throwing uppercuts and right hooks towards Darwin Nunez. There you go. I mean, you thought you'd seen it all, right? You thought The Exorcist was peak. No, apparently now we have a Colombian priest who loves starting rows in the stands by the looks of it. At least according to reports anyway. Really hope you guys got a chance to watch our interview with David Lynch that went out earlier on today. Really appreciate your feedback on that if you did as well. And again, want to say thank you to David for coming on. It was lovely to chat with him. Really lovely fella. And do check out David's YouTube channel. And of course his Substack as well. His links are in the description of that video earlier on. Do we get Lenny Yoro? Well, Sarang, my man, it's mental because we're not even in the conversation, according to the journalists. Yesterday, there was an update from Florentino Plettenberg. Not quite. Mr. Plettenberg. And he said that Liverpool aren't in the conversation. Well, he didn't say that. What he did say was it comes down to Manchester United and Real Madrid. That's what Plettenberg was saying yesterday. After that, man, I don't know. You know, we've been told many times that Liverpool are in the conversation, that Liverpool, whilst maybe we haven't put forward a bid like Manchester United have, we've always been told that if there was any indication that Real Madrid can't get the deal done, that we'd be right there. But according to Florian Plettenberg, nope, it's just Manchester United and Real Madrid at the moment anyway. Why don't we give Vandenberg a chance and buy Frimpong and then Ederson? So with Vandenberg, I think he is going to get at least a chance in pre-season. There's every indication there that Arne Slot is going to have a look at him. I think he's been very impressed with what he's seen so far. There's been some kind words written about Sepp Vandenberg since he's returned back. And look, I genuinely have no issues if Sepp gets given a chance. But we still need a senior pro. We still need another centre-back, at least 24, maybe 25 in my opinion, to come in there for when Virg isn't on the pitch. We don't want to get into a situation we've got two kind of young, semi-inexperienced centre-backs playing for us if Virgil isn't around. You do want to have that bit of leadership there. So yeah, let's wait and see. I think it'll be Mark Gay personally, but that is just guesswork. Chris, how are we? Chris, thank you and welcome in. Chris said, a lot of transfer speculation and not a lot of action. Come on, get your money out. You know the phrase, right? Where's the money, John? Where is it? Because it is getting to that point. Stevie Boy, how are we, dude? Welcome in and thank you for your super chat. Stevie Boy has said, is Trent about to sign a new deal? And all of these links to players is just speculation. Well, with regards to Trent and a new deal, I don't know the answer. You know, I know what we expect to happen. I know from speaking with David Lynch that it will probably be a very, very big contract if Liverpool have to offer it to Trent. Now, I did read the comments on the video where we spoke about the section with Trent. Some people felt that Trent doesn't deserve the money. Some people feel he does deserve the money. But for me, what I would say is, again, I don't understand how we're in this situation with his contract. And it is going to be an expensive situation to resolve, whether it's we depart and Trent leaves, whether he gets a new deal and loads of money. It felt like we could have nipped this in the bud a little bit earlier. Because right now, and I said this to David when we were speaking, you've got a situation where Virgil, Mohamed and Trent are all sitting there, and it's like a game of brinksmanship. Whose agent is going to blink first? Who's going to talk to the club first? Who's going to sign the first contract? And then that will set a benchmark for the rest of them to know what they can ask for wage-wise. It's a difficult situation the club have put themselves in. And I say put themselves in because it is a problem of our own making. But thank you, Stevie boy. And I agree with you. A lot of the links are just speculation. But that's also not a bad thing when we know how Michael Edwards operates. So as long as this speculation or links turn into something in the longer term, I think we'll all be a lot more relaxed. Rachel, thank you for gifting a membership, Rachel. Very kind of you. Ella, always lovely to see you, my friend. How are you? Said, hope you're well. Delighted to see your channel grow as much. Liverpool for the title, Coventry for promotion be the dream season for me. I mean, look, I know you're a big Coventry fan, a big Bohemians fan as well, Ella, so appreciate you being in. I don't know if I'm thinking really a title charge. Yeah, I need to see a little bit more business, Ella, and a little bit of the pre-season before I get that excited. But I've no doubt that by the end of the pre-season I'll be ready. I'll be ready to start talking about us challenging for the title. Thoughts on Kwanzaa playing the six? No, Trey, in all honesty, mate. You know, he's got all the physical attributes and the skill to be a good centre-back. So I would say keep him there, you know. Look, a lot of centre-backs, like Joel Matip perhaps, could have moved into that role, and maybe at some point he will be utilised in that role. But right now, he's a young centre-back still learning his trade, and I would just keep him there for the minute. But, you know, I appreciate the outside-the-box thinking on my man. Carrie, no, we'll go again. It's Harry Klein. I was trying to get ahead of myself there, trying to get your first name in as well. Harry said, I think Kimmich would be useful to the squad. He can play DM, he can play right back, and he could teach by Cecic a lot after Thiago's been teaching the kid a lot last season. Well, on that, there is a couple of pieces that suggest that Liverpool are indeed interested in Joshua Kimmich. Where's the one I sent earlier on? Where is it? So this piece here from Caught Offside said, Liverpool can step up Joshua Kimmich pursuit. Liverpool could step up their chase for Bayern Munich defender Joshua Kimmich after the Bundesliga giants secured an initial £42.3 million signing of João Palhinha from Fulham. With Bayern adding a new defensive midfielder to the ranks, it could leave the door open for Kimmich to leave this summer. And they go on to speak about multiple sources linking him to Liverpool and a fee of about £40 million being a number that Bayern would ask for. So, other than that, mate, you know, look, Kimmich's a solid pro. I've always got the feeling he'll likely end up at Manchester City, but, you know, I wouldn't say no if Joshua Kimmich rocked up at Anfield. He certainly has the pedigree, the experience. As you said, Stefan Bajcetic, a young, holding, defensive-minded midfielder who can also play in the 8, of course. Yeah, I wouldn't be against it, you know. Another utility player isn't the worst idea, but we still do need, at some point, I think, a specialist. Somebody who is a Fabinho, somebody who is a defensive midfielder through and through. So, whether that's somebody else or Kimmich or Bajcetic, I guess that remains to be seen. But thank you, Harry, for your super chat. Appreciate your support as always, sir. Right, I want to get into this statement that was put out by the Colombian FA, and I'm going to read it out to you now. Was this a second page of it? Yeah, there's 2 pages of this. Right, I'm going to read the statement out to you now, and you guys can tell me what you think. Now, before I go through this statement, just remember this is translated from Spanish into English, so some of the phrases probably won't sound overly familiar, but I'll give it my best anyway. So, this piece said, the Uruguayan Football Association, given the publicly known events that occurred during the CONMEBOL Copa America semi-final between Uruguay and Colombia, wishes to carry out the following remarks. The Uruguayan delegation, present in the United States for more than a month, has been carrying out its activity in an exemplary manner, both in its personal and group attitude and its public statements. Respect for the organisation, rivals, journalism, security personnel and the general public has been constant, strictly complying with the rules of the tournament based on the traditional values of our country. On Wednesday, under a context of verbal violence, provocations and various attacks that affected all the Uruguayan fans who attended the match in different sectors, a group of Uruguayan fans located behind the substitutes bench and the technical area were involved in various skirmishes that escalated in temperature until triggering situations in which several families of players and staff members of our team ended up involved. Faced with such a situation, and in the context of moments of nervousness and desperation in which women and children were held hostage, several players went up to the stands to intercede for protection and defence. It is notable that this event occurred in a context in which the proportion of Uruguayan fans were very much in the minority, mostly families, and there were not sufficient security mechanisms for this situation. Given these facts and the aforementioned lack of security, the attitude of the players was inevitable and natural. And we move on to the second part of it. Once the match was over, all the people involved in the events were evacuated and collaborated with the authorities, but not before several of them were treated for health services of the Uruguayan Football Association, which yesterday issued a medical report. Regarding the situation, experience in one of the booths where some leaders of the Uruguayan delegation and other fans who accompanied it were located, we must clarify that throughout the match that the sector received hostility from the fans who were located adjacent, just like they did with another group of Uruguayan fans who were a few metres from the location once the match ended. In the context, regrettably, exchanges and attacks took place that we strongly condemn and that will be the subject of analysis on our part without prejudice to the sanctions that may apply to our institution based on the files. This association, in its 124 years of existence, proudly privileges maximum respect for the stands of citizen conduct, banishing all acts of violence in sports. Unfortunately, the offence reported, which undermined the healthy concept of a family framework, lack of protection, generated an unjustified but humanly understandable reaction. Kind of heavy going there, but what I take from that is they acknowledge that it was unprofessional. They acknowledge that some of their players acted in a way which maybe they shouldn't have, but they also acknowledge that it was out of desperation. So, like I've always said, we need to let this work its way through, reserve judgment until all the information is at hand, and then see what we are. Can Darwin get banned? Yes. Will he get banned? I truly don't know. But what I know is I'm not the one that's going to make that decision. So for now, let's just wait and see what happens and let it all play out. But that is a statement that came out from the Uruguayan FA just a little bit earlier on today. Right, let me catch up here. I think I've missed a couple of bits and pieces. Yep. James Hart, how are you, James? Said Craig, I'm buzzing for the new season. I'm happy about it as well, James, but I wouldn't mind an old signing or two, mate, before it got underway. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a signing or two, as I said. Who wants to go to the Copa America final? If you want to have yourself a nice little sexy sideline suite for the Copa America final, how much do you think it's going to cost you? Remember, you get a nice, maybe 8-12 seats, nice little private suite. Surely it's a snip at almost €100,000. Yep, you heard me right. It's nearly €100,000 or $100,000 for this. $97,000 for a private suite on the sideline. If you want to just go to the match, if you're lucky enough to get yourself a cheap ticket, you'll only have to shell out £2,197. That's all. Just for the cheap seats. Just $2,197. Ain't no thing. And then on top of that, the most expensive normal seats, about $5,500. That's absolutely batshit crazy. And the poster correctly asked the question, I can't imagine how expensive the World Cup final is going to be if they're the prices in the States for the Copa America final. That is ridiculous. That is not going to grow the game or garner much favouritism around the world if that is the pricing. Now, I'm not having to go with the United States here. I'm sure these prices were set elsewhere by the people who were organising the event. But it just goes to show you again, it's just greed. Greed, greed, greed without a damn given. For those fans who may have followed Argentina and Colombia all the way through the tournament, probably, life savings to go around America, visit these stadiums, and then they think, oh, we've gotten all the way to the final. What are we saying? Can we do it? Can we extend our trip? Yeah, if you've got an endless wad of cash, you can. If not, then it's 2 fingers to the fans and off you come to the hi-ho silver lining money grabbers. It's mental. Absolutely mental. As I said, it isn't... I'm not having a pop at the Americans here. This is to do with the pricing of the tournament. They won't set those prices. But it's scandalous. You can have a go at the USA. Sporting events are crazy here. Normal people can't go to the Super Bowl. It's mad. Look, as I said, football, and it's not just here, football is just getting crazy expensive in general. To go to even a Liverpool game now, if you can't get a ticket directly from the club for the 77 quid, or 67 quid, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? It's mad. Football's becoming crazy expensive. Is Andre Trinidad not going to Fulham? I believe he may be, Tanya. The latest report that I'd seen said that Fulham had certainly reignited their interest after Fulham had accepted the offer and now sold Joao Neves to Bayern Munich. It does look as if they're revisiting Andre Trinidad, yes. So, where do you think Liverpool are ranked in European football? Because the new UEFA club rankings came out today. And Liverpool are in a very good position here, which surprised me a little bit. So I'll go through from 10 to 1 for you, and then you can talk about the notable exceptions. Inter Milan are ranked number 10 in the new UEFA club list. Chelsea are number 9. Borussia Dortmund are number 8. Villarreal are number 7. Paris Saint-Germain are number 6, the first fashion brand that you'll see in the top 10. Roma are number 5. The Mighty Reds, your Liverpool, are number 4. Bayern Munich are number 3. Florentino Perez, Real Madrid, are number 2. And 115 to 129 charges FC, Manchester, Abu Dhabi City, Blues, I could probably throw a few more words in there, are numero uno. But where are the other clubs? So you're going to ask me, Craig, where are Manchester United in this list? Still respectable. Not quite as bad as Arsenal. Manchester United are in 14th position on the list. Arsenal, though, are 19th. Arsenal, 19th. Which is ironically below West Ham. West Ham United are ranked number 16 in UEFA's latest rankings. And Arsenal, number 19. Now don't worry, Arsenal can always look at Spurs for a good laugh. Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur, Ange Postecoglou, Gary Neville's title winners last year, halfway through the campaign, remember, ranked number 45, behind the likes of Braga, Rome, Olympiacos, Salzburg. And Barcelona, well, they're all the way down at number 18. Now, I am a little bit confused, if I'm being really honest, how Liverpool can be as high up as number 4, because this mustn't have taken into account the Europa League season yet. It doesn't make sense if it does. But that is the rankings at the minute. 45 for Spurs though. 19 for Arsenal. 14 for Manchester United. 16 for West Ham. And Liverpool up there in 4th position. There you go. 14 is indeed 7 times 2. Well played. Well played, Boxwell. 14 is indeed 7 times 2. Well in. Any news about Yarrow? I've already gone through it, Alex. The only clubs that have been mentioned on him in the last couple of days are Manchester United and Real Madrid. So, Alisson Becker. Let's talk Ali for a little bit. Al Nassr have apparently given Manchester City a 48-hour deadline to accept an offer of around 25 to 27 million pound for their goalkeeper, Ederson. But if Al Nassr are unable to agree a deal for Ederson in that time frame, it is believed, according to Rudy Galletti, that they will push to sign Alisson. Now, we know of Saudi's interest in Alisson. We know that he rebuffed that interest previously, but it looks like they're coming back and knocking on the door. And I'm a little bit concerned. I can't lie to you. I am. I'm a little bit concerned by this situation. What I'd like to happen is clarity on the goalkeeping situation. Is Alisson staying? Is Kelleher staying? If one of them is going, is the other one staying? Now, I don't believe for 1 second that Liverpool are in any way interested in selling Alisson Becker. Why would you? He's the best goalkeeper in the world. But they keep coming back and they keep asking about. They keep approaching him and asking him, is he interested? I wonder how many zeros before maybe Alisson thinks, I hope there isn't enough zeros. I hope that he never even entertains it. But we are in a situation where our goalkeeping department does have to have some clarity to it over the next few months. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate your support, mate. Said I love the new backdrop. Thank you. That was Ben's handiwork. Right. So Simon Brundish has been speaking about the fact that it will just be 1 week before the start of the new campaign that Arne Slot will have his full squad together. Let that settle in for a minute. 1 week. Not 1 week away from the start of the preseason games. 1 week away from us kicking off in our opening game of the season will be when Arne Slot will finally have all of his players together. And remember, this is a new coach. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, and I hope that we can put it together and get off to a good start, because I don't want the pressure increasing on the new manager. Hopefully a few additions over the summer window will be there a little bit earlier as well, and they can assimilate in with the rest of the team. But yeah, there it is. I never really thought about it, to be fair. I've spoken about the fact that Liverpool players will be coming back in staggered groups depending on how long they were involved in international tournaments, but just 1 week? It's mental. It is mental. It just goes to show you that nobody gives a shit about these guys. Nobody really looks after these lads at all. They're coming in for a new club campaign with 1 week to go. So they can't even get up to full fitness before they're ready to get launched into games. And what happens then? Well, you either have a decision where you don't play some of your bigger players, or you risk injuries at the very start of a campaign. But don't you worry. Don't you worry about that, because our good friends of FIFA have made sure that there's a couple of handy little international breaks there early doors, just to make sure that if they have gotten a little bit too comfortable about not being jet lagged or whatever, that our friends of FIFA can make sure that the growth of football is secure as these boys head off on their September, October and November international breaks. Gianni, today I feel like you're a prick. Any centre-back news? Nope. There isn't. I wish I had more for you, but no, there is none today. Centre-back, I don't know if I'm just putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 7 here, but I feel like it's going to be Mark Gay. I really feel like it's going to be Mark Gay. And there doesn't seem to be much other interest in Mark Gay that I'm aware of doing the round. So again, we spoke about the upsides and the downsides to Liverpool acting late in the window. Here's the downside to it. It's the obvious one. You're scrambling around. Maybe players that you've already looked at have gone elsewhere. But there is an upside to it. The upside to it is, if you do your business a bit late, and most other clubs have gone and done their business, so let's say our competitors, United, Arsenal, City, they do their business. It means you're under less pressure because you've less competition, and these negotiations should in theory be a little bit easier. But we also know that when the transfer clock starts ticking and the deadline day starts approaching, that it gets a little bit hairier, shall we say, and the prices start to go a little bit upwards. So yeah, I'm confused at the minute. I really hope that this is the calm before the storm and we get a couple of quick fire signings in, because let's be honest, I'm starting to run out of goodwill and patience for the whole we were changing everything behind the scenes vibe. Something needs to happen. Arne Slot needs to be shown this backing. I get that he wants to look over his team, but ultimately he's supposed to be doing the coaching, and Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards and the rest of the team are supposed to be doing the recruitment. So hopefully we can get some movement on that soon. Are we getting Frimpong? Well, when I spoke with David Lynch yesterday, he didn't seem to think there was too much meat on the bones of that link, shall we say. Now, if anybody wants Frimpong, I think they've got about 9 days left to trigger that clause in his Leverkusen contract. If that isn't triggered, well, then you've got to go in and negotiate. So, no, I would say, at this point, mate. No, not unless something drastic happened with Trent. I don't think it would make any sense. I'm very intrigued to see what number is on the contract offer to Trent, because I get the feeling we could be talking 300, and that's a big outlay for the club to put out there in wages for Trent. So I want to know, Ben, if we could get a poll, please. Do you think Trent deserves a contract worth upwards of £250,000? If we could get that as a poll with a yes or a no, Ben, should Trent get a new contract worth above £250,000 per week? And I see what you guys think on that one. Craig, if there's one player in the world you want to sign, who would it be and why? So, is this like fantasy manager type stuff, or do I have to be realistic? Realistically, one player. Nico Williams, probably. But you might say, Craig, that's unrealistic because, of course, Barcelona are now in, and we've seen Mr. Tabas, the president of La Liga, say that Barcelona are getting very close to being able to afford Nico Williams. So it looks like they're certainly going to be putting their eggs in that basket, which could be good news for us if you're a Luis Diaz fan, because it's one less club linked to Luis Diaz that he could move away. And I don't know. So yeah, probably Nico Williams. Depends what Trent is on now. I don't know the number, so I'm not going to even put it out there. If he's in the leadership group, I would imagine he's somewhere in the 150 upwards category. But again, I don't have the exact number to hand. So, we said, does Trent deserve a new contract worth £250,000 per week? Answers yay or nay. That's kind of not really the question that I asked to ask, but we're close enough. I think it will be upwards of £250,000 per week. What about unrealistically? Musiala or Bellingham, if you want me to go into the unrealistic territory. You think Trent will go to Madrid to his best mate? If you know, you know. Alex, everyone knows, mate. There's nothing clever about what you've written there, bro. We all know, and are all worried about the Bellingham situation. But I've said this all along. This is what happens when you leave these contract negotiations so late. You end up with your pants down around your ankles, because it's a very difficult thing to negotiate. The club will go, Trent, we want you to stay here. We want you to be a future club captain. We want to make sure that you're a prominent part of the dressing room. And Trent's agent will go, money, 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 money. And they'll go, tick-tock, clock's a ticking. And in 11 months, my client can go, arrivederci, for free. So it's a problem of our own making. And it's one that's confused me for months and months and months. I can understand Virgil. I can understand Mohamed Salah. But I cannot understand for the life of me, Trent, how the club let this happen. I don't get it. Which international break am I going to Turkey? October, mate. I'm going to Lanzarote in September and for that international break. And then I'm going to Turkey in October. Calafiori is way better than Gay. Is he? Really? Like, are we doing the pretend you heard about Calafiori 6 months ago stuff? Are we doing that now? Like, let's be honest. You think he's better because he sounds foreign. Let's be honest about it. Mark Gay is a damn good centre-back. And I'm not saying you're wrong and I'm right. But let's be honest. The influence is because he's got a sexier sounding name. Let's be frank about it. I like Mark Gay. I think he'd be a very astute piece of business. And if we wanted Calafiori, we could have put our foot forward and tried to get him. Obviously, for whatever reason, that doesn't look like it's coming to fruition, and Arsenal look certainly like they're going to get him in. And look, we'll get to have a look at him in the Premier League, and I guess over the course of time, we'll figure out which one's right, which one's wrong. But I just want a centre back, mate. I just want a centre back, please, and thank you, John. Aaron, thank you for your super chat, my friend. Appreciate you. Said, although we don't really need Neves, he would be a great addition to us. His high energy and ability to move away from defenders would make our counter-attacks more dangerous. We still need a DM though. I don't know what to say, mate. I just want us to get moving. Look, I've always said I'm happy as long as the club get their targets. And if Arne Slot has numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 for the positions he wants to sort out, I just hope that he doesn't have to look too far down his list and the club can go bang, 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 bang. What I won't accept, and what I don't think any of us should accept, is excuses or the right player's not available or any of the other nonsense that we've been asked to swallow in recent years. Remember, we couldn't find a centre-back and now we're in our third year looking for centre-backs, looking for defensive midfielders. You know, the world's not that big of a place. And we all know who's there or thereabouts. So pay the money, get the talent in and let Arne complete, because we can't keep looking to, you know, turn rough diamonds out and have the coaches improve them. Yes, they'll do that with the younger players coming through and they'll do that with some of the senior players, but we need some players for now. And every day that's gone by now, we're getting closer and closer to the lads jetting off to the States. I just want some action. You know, we're again lagging behind a lot of our competitors who are already out there doing business. Chelsea have just signed another player. When are they going to be stopped? It's a joke, said Harley. I honestly have no idea how they're doing it or getting away with it, but it's never ending. And you're right, it just feels as if every day you see it and you think it's a wind up. Somebody's winding me up. So according to a quick search, and thank you Mark for looking this up for us, it's believed that Trent's on around 180 a week now. So £180,000 a week is the number that apparently Trent gets, which is pretty high already. So I would imagine that, yeah, we're going to be well talking over 250k then for a new contract with Trent, which is not an insignificant amount of money. But let's be honest about it as well. We can afford it. You know, it's just a matter of, do you think Trent's the guy to go to bat for that much money for? Your opinion on Celtic coming in for Tyler Morton permanently? I know that Celtic are about to lose a player. I don't remember his name. A midfielder. I think he's going... Is he going to Juventus or Bayern or somewhere? I remember seeing that Celtic were maybe getting about 20, 30 million quid, something like that. So if they get that money in and they could afford to make a bid for Tyler Morton, I guess then it's up to the club and Tyler Morton to figure out. Matt O'Reilly, that's the one, yes. Matt O'Reilly, you're spot on. Thank you for that. Yeah, look, if Celtic can get the money together, I guess then it's a decision for Tyler Morton to make. With all due respect to the Scottish League, I think Tyler Morton could aim a little bit higher personally, but you know, it's a great club to go and play for, with a great fan base and a great stadium with huge support. So again, let's wait and see. I just want what's best for the club, and if that's cashing in on Tyler Morton, so be it. If that's giving Tyler Morton a pre-season to see what he can do, I'm open to that as well. Give Trent as much as Salah makes. Really? I think that's a little bit scandalous. If I'm being honest, like there's a reason Mohamed Salah got £350,000 a week. And it's because he is, and I mean this in a loving way, a freak of nature. He came in and he rewrote the record books. The man showed up and continued to show up and continued to show up and deserved it. You know, Mohamed deserved every penny of that contract. Can I say that Trent is at that level? Not for me. But I have to also acknowledge the situation. And the situation is very favourable to Trent and his agent right now. They have the leverage. So I think he probably will end up getting somewhere around that. But on the open market, I don't think he's worth it. I don't think Trent's worth the same money as Mohamed Salah. I don't. How long contract has Alisson Becker? I think it's 2027. It's at least 2026. But I confused myself about this earlier. I'm almost certain that he's 2027. Same with Lucho. Lucho has a long contract as well. Now look, that's not to say I don't want to keep Trent and I don't like Trent. I don't want that to be the takeaway from this conversation. You know, I've got to be honest. A season and a half ago, Trent didn't look like the same player that he has this season. Now he's come in and he's been brilliant, but £350,000 a week, like that's win a game on your own money. That's like top tier, superstar, undoubted world class. I don't know. It just feels a bit much, if I'm being really frank about it. But if it was that or lose Trent, then I guess we got to pay what we got to pay. If Bellingham wins the Ballon d'Or, football has gone downhill very fast. I think Kroos should be in that conversation. Maybe you absolutely disagree with me on that. Maybe it's a little bit of romanticism, but I think Toni Kroos has been outstanding in that Madrid team for so long. And that Madrid team, weirdly enough, great side, fantastic, deserving winners of the Champions League. I've got no qualms about any of that. But they felt like more of a team accomplishment at Real Madrid this season than perhaps in previous years, where you'd have an undoubted superstar like Ronaldo who was the extra finishing piece. This year, you've had Rodrigo stepping up, Vinny Jr. stepping up, Bellingham stepping up, Toni Kroos, of course. I felt like it was more of a team effort, so maybe it's a bit more difficult. Do you remember the year when Virgil, Salah and Mane were all really, really pushing for the Ballon d'Or, and it ended up costing us the Ballon d'Or? I feel like that could be the situation at Madrid. You know, they've got 2 or 3 players seriously in that conversation that might split votes, and maybe we get a surprise. I don't know. Okay, Makwepa said, Craig, am I over-exaggerating? I just have a feeling that the club will cheap out into buying a new centre-back, relying on Vandenberg and Kwanzaa. I think John has the balls to try and do that, but that's where we come in. I don't think as fans we can let that happen. My own take is I think too many Liverpool fans have given too much of the benefit of the doubt to the owners around this situation with transfers. And there always seemed to be a cheaper option. Miss out on Caicedo, spend 18 million on Endo. Glaringly needing a centre-back, bring in Ozan Kabak and Ben Davies. Absolutely needing a central midfielder, bring in Arthur Melo on loan. It's just not good enough. It's not problem solving. It's a waste of money, and it's kicking the can down the road. And this summer, there's no more road to kick the can down. We need a centre-back, and we need a centre-back now. Defensive midfielder, you can make an argument that we're covered. You can make an argument that between McAllister, Endo, Bajcetic, you could find some. You could even say Gravenberch could go back there. But centre-back, I don't really feel like we have a valid excuse that the owners can make that any of us are going to swallow. Sepp Vandenberg, I've no problem with him staying around, but don't try and tell me that he's the next Van Dijk. I don't try and tell me that you're so convinced by him that all the plans to sign a centre-back went out the window. Don't forget Stephen Corker. Yeah, that was a mad one. Especially when the only time we seen him when he came on as an attacker, as we were looking to get something out of the game. And none of those, I guess they had various levels of success, right? One of those seasons we managed to scrape into the Champions League. And then last year, by not bringing in that centre-back, we didn't. So, yeah, I don't know. We're way too reactive than proactive in the market and probably ruin another season because of it. It's easy to make excuses and say we're behind the 8 ball, we're a little bit delayed, we've got a lot of change behind the club, but we've been hearing the change behind the club stuff since February. We've had a long time, it's July now. The club have known that Kloppo was leaving, Schmadtke was leaving, and who was coming in for quite a while. So the excuse making needs to go out the window if things don't get done. If they get done, brilliant. But until it gets done, I can understand why we're all a little bit nervous. Are Newcastle owners selling? No. So Amanda Staveley and the other dude that had a minority stake in Newcastle have sold their share to the PIF, the Saudi investment fund. I think they now own, it's about 85% of Newcastle. And I think there's another investor that owns something like 15%. But Just those two were bought out, and apparently that was always the plan, but there you go. How do you think Ben Doak will do this season? Well, he's given himself a great chance, Jake. He cut short his holiday, spent some time, I can't remember the name of the company, but he was working alongside another company on individual training programs to get his fitness up. And he's doing everything he can. So I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what Ben Doak can do this season. It was a bit of a frustrating one last year from a couple of reasons. One, the injuries. And two, I don't really feel like he took the opportunities he was given all that well in the Europa League. So, yeah, look, I'm hoping that we have a good season from him. I wouldn't be against the loan, in all honesty, to try and get him minutes, but let's wait and see again what the manager has to say, because we've a lot of players on that fringe, right? We've Tyler Morton, we've got a couple of goalkeepers that need to sort out positions, we've got Ben Doak, we've got Cade Gordon, and there's just some players that the likes of Bobby Clark, McConnell, who I think's gone on loan to Wigan. There are a couple of fringe players that we need to make a decision on, and then there's players that are just going to move on, like Nat Phillips, Reece Williams, Billy Cometio. They're not even part of the preseason tour to America, so their futures are pretty much decided. Kimmich, no thanks. He's not the same player anymore. Unfortunately, he's on the decline, said Stephanie. I would agree, Stephanie. I wouldn't say no to an experienced head, but I agree with you. For me, I'd rather look to somebody between the age of 19 and 24. Any news on Gordon? Nothing new, no. But I definitely did leave that interview with David Lynch feeling like we definitely haven't heard the last of the Anthony Gordon situation. And I think David feels the same way. So, yeah. Do you know what? I have to say, I've been lucky enough to interact and interview with a lot of people over the 6-7 years I've been doing this. And for somebody I'd never spoken to before, and I hadn't ever spoken to David Lynch until yesterday, he's a really nice guy. I left that interview really rooting for him to succeed. Not that he hasn't already had a very good career, I don't mean that, but genuinely a lovely, lovely fella. And I would urge you to check out his YouTube channel, his Substack, and hopefully we'll have him on again in the future, because I really enjoyed the little chat we had with him. He was very giving of his information. He was a dream to work with, in and out, nice and straightforward. Can't say enough good things. So yeah, well up to David Lynch, and thank you for coming on for a chat with us. Right, let's talk about the bookies' odds on who we might sign. So Anthony Gordon, Liverpool are by far and away the favourites with the bookies to bring in Anthony Gordon. They have us a 5-6, meaning we're more likely than unlikely according to these odds. That's quite telling. So the bookies definitely feel like there's still some money being put on Liverpool there to sign Anthony Gordon. Now, Crescencio Somerville, we're still in and around the favourites there. Brighton are top of that list at 11-4 with the bookies. Liverpool come in at 7-2. And I want to credit the Echo. See what I've done there, Echo? I've credited you for using one of your pieces. Everybody else across social media was crediting us today, but the Echo just still blanking us. Don't worry, lads. Eventually you'll realise we are the future. It's all good. Anyway, credit to the Echo. Crescencio Somerville, 11-4 for Brighton, 7-2 for Liverpool. So we're there or thereabouts in the betting for him. This is an interesting one though. Julian Alvarez of Manchester City. Chelsea are the favourites at 4-1, which isn't great odds anyway. 8-1 for Liverpool on Julian Alvarez. We are the favourites to sign Ollie Watkins, but it's still far-fetched odds. That isn't going to happen. 5-1 for Liverpool and Ollie Watkins. Pedro Neto of Wolves, we're way down the list on that, so it looks like that, at least from the money perspective, has dried up. Spurs are the favourites to sign Pedro Neto. Gyökeres at Sporting, Liverpool are way down at 8-1 on that one. And the one that I'm going to bring up now and speak about, because there is a link to us with this guy today, is Eze of Crystal Palace. Spurs still favourites there at even money to sign Eze. Arsenal 3-1, United 12-1, Newcastle 12-1, and Liverpool way down at 14-1. Even though there's articles being written today linking us with a move for Eze. Liverpool identify Eberechi Eze as a replacement for Luis Diaz, according to Football Transfers. While Diaz's Liverpool departure is in no way guaranteed, the Reds must prepare themselves for a situation in which the Colombian expresses his desire to leave. In that case, Liverpool would target Crystal Palace attacking midfielder / winger Eze. Thoughts? How many number 10s are we going to need, by the way? Because what we're being told so far is that Arne Slot is playing around with the idea of using Lucho as a number 10 and having Cody Gakpo as the wide left player. So if that's the case, how many number 10s are we going to have? We really will have, Carvalho, Jones, McAllister, Elliott, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, who can all operate in that 10 role. And I've probably forgotten one or two as well there when I was quickly going through that. Right, I'm going to go into some of your comments now and see what you guys are thinking. James Sen said, why don't we offer a straight why don't we offer a straight swap Diaz for Gordon? If Gordon's head has already turned, Gordon should be similar money. Because Diaz won't want to go to Newcastle. Like, we can't. Sometimes when we're talking about these transfers, some people think that the club can just go, Diaz, off you pop to Newcastle. No, it would have to be something that Diaz wants as well. And with all due respect to Newcastle, I could see Diaz getting a level above at this point. But I do think he'd do well at Newcastle, actually. I think Newcastle fans would love him. But I don't see that as being something that's going to happen. So, on this poll, we're heading towards 1,000 votes. We're up at about 800 so far. And we said, does Trent deserve a new contract worth £250,000 upwards per week? And 82% of you guys said, yes, Trent does deserve a contract at 250 grand upwards. Yusuf, how are we? Yusuf's Katish said, I want Chiesa, Gay, Ederson and Aït-Nouri. Dude, that is a very reasonable transfer window. I mean, if your signings were our transfer window, I'd be more than happy. I can't speak for everybody in the chat, but Chiesa will give us versatility and options again up top. Gay is the centre-back who is homegrown, Premier League proven, international pedigree now with England. Yeah, I take that one. Ederson, well, you know my thoughts on Ederson. He'd be the one I'd be going after straight away. And also, Aït-Nouri, I think, is very realistic. It would take Costas to move on, but I do think we will see some movement towards Aït-Nouri as the window goes on, in my opinion. Views on Inacio. It feels like that ship has sailed. Now, I'm not saying we might not revisit it, but Inacio was all the rage for us last summer. And here's where I have a problem with the Inacio deal. Last summer, he was €40 million. This summer, €60 million because he signed a new deal. It would just be mad, in my mind, if we paid 20 million quid more for somebody we could have already had. Yeah. Watkins would fill the number 9 nicely. Oh, look, Paul, he'd be brilliant. But Villa ain't selling Watkins. Look, I have nothing but admiration for Ollie Watkins, his career, the way he's gone about it, how much he's improved, how hard he's worked to get where he is. And I'd love him at Liverpool, but Aston Villa aren't going to want to lose Watkins. And I think he's found a manager in Unai Emery who really understands his importance and how to get the best out of him. What do you think have been the best free transfer in football history? Well, you'd have to say probably Mbappe to Real Madrid. Off the top of my head. Yeah, probably that. I'm sure I've missed one or two massive other ones off the top of my head, but remember, there was no transfer fee involved in that Mbappe deal, so right now I'm going to say that. From Liverpool's perspective, James Milner, Joel Matip, Gary McAllister had a very influential time at Liverpool in that treble-winning season. Big impact on Steven Gerrard's future career as well, learning under Gary McAllister. I'm sure there are more, though. What are your thoughts on the new goalkeeping coach? I'm going to go into that now, Jason Hammond, actually. Thank you for bringing it up. So, yeah, it is a bit of an odd story, this one, but it is true, so we're going to talk about it. I want to credit Barry at Backseatsman LFC on X for his post. Said Liverpool's new goalkeeping coach Fabian Otta is making the goalkeepers train with noise cancelling headphones and glasses that impair your vision. So this is something that I heard a little bit about during the Euros. Was it the Swiss goalkeepers or somebody were doing something similar? So yeah, the new goalkeeping coach has our boys training the keepers with noise cancelling headphones on and glasses that impair your vision. Look, I'm sure there's science behind it, and I'm all for evolving with the times and trying to get any edge you can. But there you go. So yeah, noise cancelling headphones and sunglasses or glasses that impair your vision. Gita said, missed this platform, haven't joined since the season ended. Gita, we've been having fun all summer, my friend. Welcome back in. Nice to have you in, and I hope whatever you've been doing, that life's been treating you well. Appreciate you coming back in. Has anybody noticed behind me, by the way, me and Nulan dancing our asses across the back of the screen every so often? That was a little touch I asked Ben to put in, and Ben, being the wizard that he is, of course, was able to do it. But yeah, every so often you might be a little bit distracted by me and an alien just dancing our asses across the back of the screen. Mbappe hasn't even played a game yet for Real Madrid, so we can't say it was successful. I think we can take an educated guess on saying that it'll probably do all right. Would I prefer Gakpo or Luis Diaz on the left? At the minute, I have to say, Jabir? I have to say that I really do like Cody Gakpo on this left wing position. At the end of last season, when he played there for us, he looked really good. At the Euros with the Netherlands, he looked really good. But then again, Lucho's looked good, and Lucho's done very well for Colombia as well in the Copa America. I'd probably start the season with Gakpo, in all honesty, for a couple of reasons. One, he'll be back a little bit sooner. I think maybe a week to 10 days ahead of Diaz, who of course has the Copa America final coming up. So he'll have a little bit longer with Arne Slot in pre-season. And from what we can gather, it looks like Slot is looking at Diaz maybe moving into a number 10 role, or maybe a partial number 10 role. Craig, I've known you for 3 years now, and just like fine wine, you look better as you age. Thank you, I think. I love, there's this time of the year, right, where my wife's 3 months older than me. So right now, my wife is 43. And I'm 42, and these are the most glorious 3 months of the year for me, because I spend it consistently reminding her how old she is and how she's lucky to have a young toy boy like me in her life for those 3 months, and then I have to shut up again. Do you think we can get Nico Williams? No, I really feel like he's going to Barcelona, and I kind of feel like Barcelona have no option but to get Nico Williams. Because if you look at Real Madrid and what they're up against, the idea of Yamal and Nico Williams on the flanks, like they did for the national team, that could give them some hope of trying to stem the tide of Mbappe, Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Valverde, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Endrick, and on and on and on. So I feel like they have to get it done. When do I think we'll get our first signing? Said Anto Man. Honestly, I'm hoping before we head off to the States. Put it this way, Anto Man. The window's nearly open a month now. We're 2 days away from the transfer window, haven't been open for a month. It ends on the 30th of August, so we're about 30-35% of the way through the transfer window, and we've done nothing. We haven't sorted out the contracts of Salah, Trent or Virgil. Now Salah's been back at the club and been on holiday, so there was a chance to talk with him. And we haven't, as far as we know, even put a bid in elsewhere. So I don't know what's going on. I know I'm getting nervous, but I know I'm probably in the minority, because I always get nervous around transfers. I want things happening quickly. Mostly because I want the manager to have as much time as possible on the training ground. What else we got? Jurgen Klopp, a little bit on Kloppo. He has agreed to become an honorary ambassador for the LFC Foundation, as reported by many people over the last day or so. Just brilliant. Just nothing to add to that. Amazing. Love that Jurgen's going to be involved with the foundation. Love that he's going to be still representing the club in some small way. And love the work he's going to undoubtedly bring to it as well. And the lives that he's going to help change there. So, yeah, lovely touch that. And great to have Jurgen on board with the LFC Foundation. I've done that one already. Sorry, I'm just flying through my notes just to make sure I don't miss anything. Apparently, Paris Saint-Germain have made a big offer to Napoli for Kavisha Kvaratskhelia and Victor Osimhen. The Evening Standard said that they've offered a whopping £170 million, or about €200 million, to sign Victor Osimhen and Kavisha Kvaratskhelia. It looks as if nobody's going to come in for Lucho, and I'm happy about that. You know, we'd wondered all summer, were we going to see a PSG or a Barcelona come in to try and tempt Lucho? Well, it looks like both have their priorities elsewhere, which I'm fine with. I've no problem with Lucho staying around. He's 27, in the prime of his career, on small enough money, and 3 years left on his deal, so good. Jason said, I can honestly see us finishing the window with no new signings. I can't see that happening, mate. How are they selling that, you know? If you're the owners and you've got a new manager, a new backroom team, and you've got the band back together somewhat behind the scenes, it's very difficult to look down the camera with a straight face and tell people that you're backing the manager and you expect success if you haven't spent a damn penny. Yeah, I don't think even they can be that miserly. No, I definitely expect signings. If there's not, I'm going to be a basket case, though, honestly. There won't be enough Where's the Money Johns, or there won't be enough beep machines to stop me swearing if that's the case, because it would just be an admittance that we've no intent on winning anything. I'm hearing Diaz could be looked at as a number 10. Yeah, we spoke about that earlier on in the stream. No problem. You know, if you can find a way to get Diaz and Gakpo both into the team, no problem with that whatsoever. We're very lucky. We've got a good group of forwards at the club. I still think we need competition on the right-hand side for Mo. Competition and, of course, somebody to be able to slot in if Mo needs a rest. Yeah, but again, if he sees him as a number 10, no problem. What is our transfer budget? So I spoke to David about that, and I asked the question that I knew everybody would want me to ask, which is, do Liverpool go into these windows? And by the way, David Lynch has worked with the club in their media team previously. So the question what I asked them was, do Liverpool go into every transfer window with a budget, or is it a case of it's a case-by-case basis? And I've always believed, and got that reaffirmed, that it is a case-by-case basis. You'd be very foolish as an owner or a manager of any business to say to your employees, here's a budget. Because what happens when you give somebody a budget? They spend it. If I told you right now you have 10 grand to go spend on a holiday, you'd book a holiday that's probably 9,995 quid. And rightly so. So what Liverpool do is, they go ask the recruitment team to go and pinpoint the targets. They look at the numbers. They obviously evaluate the metrics, the data, the fitness levels, the human side of it, and everything else that goes into recruiting a player. And then they see if it all comes into value. Are they the right age profile? Can they improve? Can the club potentially have resale value? Is it something that will improve the club on the pitch without any doubt? If all of these questions are answered yes, then in theory, the money appears. But it's when we get these, there's nobody in the world better than what we have excuses that just don't wash. The new studio looks great. Great work by Ben and Connor. Onwards and upwards for this brilliant channel. Thank you, Stephen. Ben is the man who deserves the credit for the studio build. That is his baby, his hard work, and I agree. It's fantastic. Very grateful for Ben and the work he's done on it. It's it's great. I love it. Shane B, how are you, sir? And thank you very much for your super chat. I'm excited for next season. With the business we're doing and have done at the moment, it's definitely a positive start to the rebuild needed. Last season's business was brilliant. I don't really have too much complaints about it at all, to be honest with you, mate. It was really good business when you look back on it. But it needs to be finished off. You know, we need to go in and bring in a centre-back, and we need to look at the full-back position, central midfield. It always feels like we're close. But it's also important to remember that whilst we're closing that gap, we're closing the gap on last season's competitors. They're still going to improve as well, so we don't want to let it go too far. Now, Sancho looks like he's going to be staying at Manchester United as well. Apparently him and Ten Hag had a bit of a breakthrough in negotiations about the apology or whatever, and he's going to stay there and be part of United this season. So, you know, they're improving as well. So we've got to make sure that we are there. And I'd love a statement from the owners. I'd love them to come out and back the manager to the tune of whatever he wants. Like, realistically, if he wants Joao Neves, then go get Joao Neves. You can't say you wouldn't pay the money for Joao Neves if you're willing to pay it for Caicedo. Yes, Caicedo had that time in the Premier League as a bit of experience, but Joao Neves is an undoubted talent. Craig, I'm chatting to a baddie and listening to your stream in the background. Today couldn't get any better. Cool. Thank you, Migs. If Alisson leaves, and it's a big if, said Pirishanu, oh, sorry if I've mispronounced there, my friend, is Kelleher capable of being Liverpool's number one? So, for me, I'd say yes. I would. Now, I'm not going to say he's as good as Alisson right now, but I would absolutely give Quiveen the chance if Alisson, for whatever reason, and you did say, to be fair to you, a big if, yes, I think he is. What I would say is, though, I probably want a bit more of an experienced head as well in and around, so maybe a Rui Patricio type character as well as Yaros. But for me, yes, I think I probably would have answered no up until last season, where we got to see Quiveen play almost half the campaign, and I think he did a fine job. Like any goalkeeper, he wasn't perfect, but he's definitely developed, definitely ready for the big stage. So for me, yes. But it would be a huge loss, of course, losing Ali. Your daily Sobo lover, thank you for your super chat, mate, said, who is most likely to join Liverpool? I don't know. I don't want to lie to you, mate. I don't know. Yeah. I wouldn't even know to give you a name right now. Like the Joao Neves stuff, I can look here and I can tell you 100% that there's interest, but I can't tell you a bid's going to follow. I can tell you we're still looking at Mark A, but I can't tell you if a bid's going to follow. I don't know, and that's a good thing. I shouldn't know. I like that I don't know. I like that nobody knows. But when you don't know and it's quiet, it can feel like nothing's happening. And that's when we all get a little bit sketchy, right? I think Michael Edwards being at the club has maybe allayed some of our fears because we know what a shrewd operator he is. But I'm still nervous. I'm still nervous because I want a real statement that we want to win, and not that we want to get fourth or win a League Cup. I want a statement that says Liverpool want to win the Premier League this year and next year and then the Champions League, and we're serious about it. Because football's moving on. The football financial landscape has changed so much in the short time that we've had these owners, and we need to react to it. We just do. You can't always tell us how we're brilliant at this, that and the other, commercially, yada yada, and still not back with the money. We need to spend. And sometimes you can get a bargain, but sometimes you have to spend what you have to spend. Where do you think Slot plays Szoboszlai? It's a good question, and it's a hard one to answer without knowing exactly how we're going to play. I think I can, at a guess, I think on the right. I would say on the right. There's a world where, in a specific system, he could fulfill the Salah role in a different way. So I would guess on the right. Mainly because of my faith in Harvey Elliott. And I think Harvey Elliott will operate in one of the 10s. And should. I think he deserves the time to kick on this season. Sorry, I'm just reading through comments. Where was that comment? Rachel, you're not getting married tomorrow, are you, Rachel? If your wedding's tomorrow, Rachel, then wow, that came up fast. But either way, have a good one, Rachel. Always lovely to see you in. Shane said, I'm a United fan. Sorry for not clarifying. Oh, I remember, Shane. I remember you from before, mate. All good, my man, all good. It's interesting right now, mate, in the Premier League. You know, United are starting to look like a team or in a group that maybe can dream about some real progression this season. I think, they've cleaned up behind the scenes. If you can get Sancho back in and assimilate back into the squad as well, bring in some centre-backs, they'll be improved. You'll improve. Chelsea, I expect an improvement as well this season. Newcastle, again, they're going to be pushing Spurs. It ain't going to be easy, even to get Champions League football again. And we've become so used to that under Jurgen that it just increases the pressure again on Arne Slot. So this is why I hope that he gets back in the market. Michael said, first time I've made it to a live. Craig, you're brilliant, mate. Appreciate your insights. That's incredibly kind of you, Michael. Thank you. Look, mate, I'm really lucky. I've got a kick-ass audience that I could come on here with no notes and you guys would just give me information and bounce back off me. And the channel's only as good as the community that comes in, mate, and watches. Which is why I know you all hate it when I go ranty, Craig, at people. But respect is really, really important to me in life. And when I see someone disrespect you guys, it doesn't sit well with me because you're my family. You're my online family. And I'm not going to let anyone come in and disrespect you. So I know I'd go over the top at times, but just because I really, 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 really appreciate what you guys have done for my life. And no one's going to come in and talk shit about you on my watch or about me. So yeah, thank you, mate. Appreciate your support. What else have we got? Will there be deductions as that makes Champions League money easy? Will there be deductions? I don't know what you mean, James. Sorry, mate. That's kind of gone over my head a little bit. Mijor, thank you as well. Love your show. Appreciate that. Thank you, mate. Squeaky clean. Always a pleasure, bro. Always a pleasure. It's KDS. Proud to be here on the channel. WFM right back at you. WFM, by the way, if you don't know, is kind of like our old school's... Oh, Rachel, your wedding is tomorrow. That's awesome. Many happy returns to you both, Rachel. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. And know that your Anfield Agenda family are there with you in spirits, even though I could have officiated. But have a great day, Rachel. What a big day in your life. That's awesome. So where are we? Yeah, look. Sorry, WFM means we're fucking massive. That's what that means. If you wonder why those three letters keep appearing. 250k upwards for a player and we still don't know where to play him. See that, Andrew? It's hard to push back against that, mate. You're right. We're talking about 250, 300,000 pound for a player that we all agree is a good player, but we still don't know, is he a right back? Is he a central midfielder? Is he a defensive midfielder? Is he a number 10? Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? But welcome to the world of football. It's mental. Oh, you meant deductions for City and Chelsea. Yeah, so I hope so. Well, look, certainly with Manchester City, we know that hearing's taking place in November, and we hope to hear something positive on that regard. So, before I finish up with 15 minutes of questions and answers, I just want to again give you guys a reminder. It is 3 weeks, just 3 small weeks from tonight, that we're going to be in Cardiff for our second last ever stage show. And I mean this sincerely, I'm not putting myself through it after these 2 shows. So if you would like to come and see us, we're in Cardiff at the Richard Burton Theatre on August the 2nd, which is 3 weeks from tonight. Tickets are priced at just £15. You can get them with the link pinned to the top of the chat or in the description of the stream. And then 2 days later, we're going to be at the magnificent Hot Water Comedy Club in Liverpool. We're going to be one of the first acts in the new theatre in there as well. Both of those shows are priced at just £15, and they are also both all ages events, meaning teenagers, kids, everybody's welcome along to the shows. And there'll be meet and greets, photos and all that stuff afterwards as well. So if you guys want to come along, these are the last two that we're doing. Cardiff, August 2nd. Liverpool, August the 4th. Carl Porter, comedian extraordinaire, will be with us in Liverpool. And in Cardiff, you're going to get to meet the whole Anfield Agenda team. Myself, Ben, Connor, all of our wives and partners. Chris Stonage is going to be there as well, old school. And we're going to have our first podcast episode recorded early next week as well. Myself and Jack are starting recording on Monday, so the Anfield Agenda podcast should be out middle of next week on all of your podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Acast, all the usual ones. Am I the only one who misses the overlapping Trent? No, I do. Look, I understood why Jurgen came up with the role he did for Trent, because it did give us something in the centre of the pitch, but it absolutely left a big hole in the right back position that was asking a lot of players to cover. It was asking a lot of the right-sided centre-back. It was asking a lot of the likes of Mohamed Salah, who had to tuck back in and provide that cover. So, yeah, it asked a lot. It isn't perfect, but it did do a role. It did serve its purpose for us. And I'm intrigued to see if Arne Slot carries it on, because I believe previously he has done similar things. Who would I take if Man City get relegated? Look, I could give you the smart arse answer of none of them, but I'd like Julian Alvarez. I think he's a really good footballer. Look, there's no point in us talking about this situation really till we see what happens with them. What about the Man City arbitration hearing where they're trying to sue the Premier League? It started on June the 10th, was supposedly 2 weeks, but it's been radio silence. Not heard a thing. Mate. I know what you're speaking about, but it always felt to me like that was a case of we're going to just keep throwing shit at the wall and hope something sticks and slows down the process or strengthens our hand. I've not heard anything on it though. How can't you pick Rodri? It's very easy, Stephen. I forgot. That's the answer. I forgot. So yeah, there you go. Rodri's the answer then. Do you think Slot might make Trent captain for next season like we do with Stevie G? I'm not sure if it'll be next season, but I do think he will get the promise of the captain's armband at some point. It might come down to what happens with Virgil. I don't know. But it'll certainly be in his future, I would imagine, yes. Would I take Xavi Simons at the club? I can see the appeal. The kid has something about him. But I don't think... No, I don't think we need that style of a player in Xavi Simons. I think Elliot can be our Xavi Simons. I think I'm not 100% convinced yet. He can do really good things, but he also has decision-making issues that I think needs to be figured out. Yeah, I'm unsure. PSG apparently only want to loan him out this year, according to what I've read in the last day or two. Leipzig and I can't remember who the other club were that were in for him, but it looks like a loan for another year anyway. Did I see UEFA's club ranking? Yeah, we spoke about it earlier on. For those who weren't with us when we went through the UEFA rankings, 1 second, I'll go through them for you now. So the latest UEFA club rankings have Liverpool in the top 5, but I'll run through the top 10 for you just in case you missed it. And number 10, it's Internazionale of Italy. Number 9, it's Todd Bowley's Chelsea. Number 8, Borussia Dortmund. Number 7, Villarreal. Number 6, the world's favourite fashion brand, Paris Saint-Germain. Number 5, Roma. Number 4, here comes Liverpool in at number 4. Bayern Munich, FC Hollywood, number 3. Real Madrid, the Florentino Perez Galacticos, number 2. And then number 1 are those who we don't want to talk about. You know who I'm on about, unfortunately. But the interesting thing, I think, is who's not in the top 10. And that's Manchester United, who are number 14 on that list. West Ham are number 16. And amazingly, 3 places below West Ham are Arsenal. Arsenal Football Club are ranked 19th in UEFA's latest list. Spurs, their North London rivals, they're all the way down at number 45. All the way down at number 45. All the way down. Lower. There they are. Right, sandwiched right in between Olympiacos and FC Copenhagen. That's where Spurs are. Yeah. 45th. Cass Janssen said, Al Nassr didn't want to pay the 50 City wanted. Doesn't Liverpool ask more than that for Alisson? I would imagine so, my friend, yes. I don't know Ederson's contractual situation with Man City, so I don't know how long he has left on his deal. But I know Alisson has 3 years. So from our perspective, 1, I think Alisson's a better keeper than Ederson. 2, we know he's got a long-term contract at the club. And 3, he's going to be a bitch to try and replace him if we have to. So, yeah, look, I hope that Alisson rebuffs the interest again and says no interest. But we've got to wait and see what happens. Only started watching these streams over the past couple of weeks. I just want to say it's cheered me up during difficult days I'm going through. Thank you, Craig. Can't thank you enough. Jason, it's great to have you in, bro. And if we can make you smile at any point, mate, you are more than welcome. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for supporting us. And thank you for being with us. And I hope things brighten up for you soon, my man. Ryan, nice to see you, bro. Any predictions for the Euros final? Pain. Look, on paper, England shouldn't win it. On paper, Spain should win it. And I think Spain will win it. But England can be proud of themselves no matter what. You know, to get to the final after the way that they've played and not really lighting up the tournament, and you got to say well done. You know, on foreign soil, first time England they've ever been in a final outside of England. Well done. Whatever happens, they've done the nation proud. Your nation proud. But I do disagree with one little thing. Gary Neville has said that Harry Kane is the greatest English national team player of all time. The fuck is he on about? Come on now. Does anybody that's English in our chat think that Harry Kane is the greatest English player ever? Now, I don't mean on the club stage. I mean for the national team. The greatest ever wear the 3 lines on his chest. I mean, as an outsider, as an Irishman, nope. No way. Not a chance. Not even close. Turpy said all the way. Really? I mean, look. I don't get it. I really don't. You look at who's played for England over the years, like, and you look at some of the depth of talent that's been in that English team. I mean, go all the way back to 66 and work your way forwards. Like, it's a big call from Gary Neville to say that that Kane's the greatest English player ever. But then again, this was the same man who told us that Spurs would finish above Liverpool and Arsenal and maybe win the league last season, right? Still paid for these opinions, by the way. Hi, Gary. Right, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it a night. My daughter's home for the weekend, so I'm going to spend some time with her. And I will catch up with you guys tomorrow, where we will be live at 8:45 tomorrow night for another late night agenda. We'll have a news video coming out at lunchtime tomorrow as well. A video 5 o'clock. And then Sunday is my day off, so I won't be live on Sunday. But don't forget, please do drop a like for me before you head off. If you haven't already, please do. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. And check out the Anfield Agenda Clips channel, We really need your support on that one. We're closing in on 30,000 subscribers. If you can do it, go over and check out our Clips channel. Our TikTok today hit 150,000 subscribers and 8 million likes. So thank you to everyone that follows us on TikTok as well. Thank you to Ben for working away in the background. Thank you to Connor as well for his work today. Most importantly though, thank you to you guys for your amazing support as always. Enjoy your weekends and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Bye bye.